And good morning. It's Friday. How are you doing? 44 right now as we wait for that high to reach about 49 today. That's what we've got in store. We have a few sprinkles early this morning in eastern Lauderdale County. We'll look at radar in a moment. We should have just a sprinkle or two today, ending by roughly 3 o'clock. Parades should be good for tonight, and I know there's a lot of them. We'll go over the list of what we have during the morning show. So make sure to join us. That's coming up this morning beginning at 7. It is Fun Friday. The entire gang is back today. I think someone made it back from New Orleans. Sheila, good morning to you. So many of you up and at 'em there. Karina, morning. We'll get into all those stories and what's going on. We do have an accident that happened just a few moments ago near Newton, Mississippi. This is going to be east of Newton. And let me show you this. Now, this is what we're looking at here. As we zoom in on this, right in the eastbound lane is where this accident's going to be, in between around mile marker 113, right along in there. That's what we were told. And that's showing actually westbound, but I was told it was eastbound. So pay attention if you're headed in that direction. 2 cars involved, one off in a tree line and one in the median as you're headed to work. Be careful, be careful. Roads are slick this morning. We'll get more details on that coming up here in just a little while. Be cautious. We'll be right back after we take a good break here to go out to Collinsville First Baptist.
Today we wrap up the first week of the Advent season with our focus on hope. In Revelation 21, we read about the day that our hope becomes sight. Apostle John writes, "Then I saw a new heaven and new earth. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. And he who is seated on the throne said, Behold, I am making all things new.'" This is where hope leads not to disappointment, but the fulfillment beyond imagination. We see it with our own eyes. The child born in Bethlehem inaugurated God's kingdom, but the story doesn't end with his first coming. John sees what we still await. Creation restored, God dwelling with his people, and every painful consequence of sin erased forever. Don't miss God's promise here. I am making all things new. He's not destroying or starting over, but renewing and restoring. So the brokenness you see today in yourself, in others, in this world will be completely healed. This is completed hope. What we now believe by faith that anchors our hope, we will one day see with our eyes. The promises we cling to in darkness will become our eternal reality in light. So Advent reminds us we live between promises and fulfillment, between Christ's 2 comings. We wait, but not hopelessly. We wait with confident expectation because God always finishes what he starts. And one day, hope becomes sight. Until then, hold fast. May you be blessed this Advent season. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed that message. As we said, 44 as we start this day. And let's look at radar real quick before we get going to show you where those showers. And it's just a little bit of what we're picking up. And it's itty bitty as we go to Doc's Toyota radar. We've got just a little bit here in the Clarkdale community north of Enterprise and that area there. Some has moved over near York, Alabama, a little bit around Montrose and Lewin and Taylorsville. Not much. It's just some sprinkles that are coming down. We've got fog around Stark Vegas this morning. Bully's having a tough time seeing there. Over to Eupora, and then we get into the Delta there around Winona, Vaden, and Greenwood. We've got some fog there as well. Brief outlook of what's happening in Mississippi, and we'll get into your weather forecast coming up in just a little bit as well. Elon Musk posted to X, which is his Twitter that he bought, and you know, it makes a lot of sense. And let me just pull up what he put here. It just really makes sense. This is what Elon had to say. Back in 24, illegals don't use benefits. And 25, it was, how dare you take their benefits? Narrative shift complete. Kind of summed it up, didn't it? Everybody denies, and then, well, there's the truth. We have breaking news on this. This would happen yesterday. The mayor of New Orleans, Lolita Cantrell, has just been indicted by a federal grand jury after an FBI investigation for corruption. As Desi would say, you've got some explaining to do. That's the latest that we've got from New Orleans. And, of course, she's on her way out as a mayor-elect is getting ready to take over with that. This really hit home, and I see this, and let me see if I can click on this, and maybe it'll take me straight to her page. This is a Republican from Florida. She's a senator, and that's who she is. That's what she looks like there. What she had to say is, everybody is complaining about these drug boats that the president is taking out. Everybody kind of familiar with the narrative of what that is these days. There's so many people against it saying he's doing wrong. She says, if you think the drug trafficking boats is getting out of control is shocking, I encourage you to visit the inner city of Chicago or Skid Row in Los Angeles and see what happens when more than 100,000 Americans are dying from ODs every year. Now, she's got a point. Have you seen those pictures in Los Angeles, Skid Row? It is pathetic. The zombie look. We've had this stuff happen in West Virginia. They're walking around like zombies. It looks something straight out of The Walking Dead. And you link it back to Venezuela. That's one of the big ones. We get a lot also from the cartel that comes in from Mexico. But there's a lot comes in from there, and that's what he's trying to fix. And so many are trying to overlook that. Why? A lot of money in that stuff. There's even diseases in this world that people don't want answers to because, well, so much money is made off of it. The drugs is one of those big ones there. American or non-American, where do you stand on that issue? There's a lot of people that want open borders as we look into other countries that have that. It's just problems. We go this morning to Idaho. It's unique. I've never heard of this happening, of anybody offering this, but this man did, a bar owner. A man has won free beer for a month at a local bar after reporting the state rep for hiring illegals in his company. Free beer for a month there. The Old State Saloon Bar in Idaho is running a promotion this month for free beer for a month if you report illegals to ICE who get deported. Seems to be a hit. It's going over pretty well at that bar. I watched this, and it makes a lot of sense. Do you know who Stephen Smith is? I did not. He is a sports journalist, and he may work for ESPN, one of those, but he's a sports journalist. He was recently on The View, and they were complaining about Trump. And he's sitting there listening. As they rip into him about calling a reporter piggy. Do you remember that one? He said, sit down, piggy. Called somebody else ugly and falling asleep supposedly during a meeting. He may have closed his eyes. That part could be true. But they were complaining about it. And they looked at him, and his answer was, as Trump being Trump, 77 million Americans don't care. Kind of answered that, didn't it? Now, I've had to look this up. I honestly didn't know that this had turned into an ugly word. And I've been reading all week of people referring to this as the R word, and they don't say any more than the R word. And I'm thinking, I cannot, for the life of me, think of what an ugly word that starts with R is. And it's RETAR, so we'll play by the rules here. Calling someone, you remember that from high school. Tim Waltz is complaining that people are driving by his house yelling the R word at him. I did not make this up. He is complaining about that. Why are they doing this? There's a lot happening in Minnesota right now. Corruption is the big word there. They've even let little Franklin have another meme. It says Franklin calls Waltz the R word. We'll play by the games this morning there. My, oh my, I had no idea that was a word that you couldn't use anymore. There's a culture out there that does it. I think most of that has gone away from Twitter and other places. Now they don't abide by those rules anymore. Derek Chauvin, do you remember that name? He is the man that was sentenced for the murder of George Floyd. He has applied and requested a new trial. Could it change? They have proven that the police department did use the chokehold in training. It could head back to trial. We'll see if anything changes on that and develops. We'll let you know. $820 million is what the Powerball is up to. $820 million, folks. Whew. Now, Odie, is that drawing tonight and tomorrow night or just tonight? Which night do they draw?
Powerball is tonight.
Powerball tonight.
And
the other one's tomorrow night?
the Mega Millions.
Mega Millions is on Saturday. All right. Powerball tonight, folks. $820 million. We wish you luck if you go by there. Do y'all know who Secretary Sean P. Duffy is? I watched an interview with him. I think it was on Fox, or it may have been on Megyn Kelly online, to where he was asking people to be respectful. And you go, well, what do you mean? Of when you show up to an airport, to be dressed respectfully, not half dressed like you see at Walmart. Show some American pride. Now there's a group showing up trying to protest him at airports wearing pajamas. Do they not have anything better to do?
No.
I'm telling you, if you are busy in your life, you don't have time to play games like that. You really don't.
Well, that was their job. They got paid to do that.
Yeah, they may have gotten paid to it. But they're saying it's the average Joe that's getting ready to travel across the country boarding wearing pajamas. This could get ugly. Candace Owens. It is getting ready to go to trial. As you remember, she said, well, if it's proven, it'll be defamation. To where Marcon's wife, France, she said that she was really a man. And she stood by and doubled down on it. And so the woman has sued. It is headed to court. Now, some of these attorneys are the same ones are involved in the thing that Fox got into that had to pay $787 million. Do you remember that lawsuit? This could be ugly. She could lose her whole empire that she's built. It averages about $10 million a year is what I'm gathering Candace makes out of this. Her husband works for her, and they've named every company that she owns in the lawsuit against them. She's making a lot of claims still against Charlie. Has she gone off the deep end? What's going to be proven? We'll see once this thing hits court. Oh, my. Trump has... we'll get back to that story in a little bit. Now, everywhere I go, and we've often joked about it, but it's really no joke. As I travel about our fair city and other places, you can't help but smell the stench. And what I mean by stench is the marijuana that has taken over the area. I mean, it'll literally just about choke you out. You're driving along, you think something's dead. Well, it's marijuana that you're smelling. Now, Mississippi, the great state, passed this for medical reasons. I'm all for anybody that needs medical. You've heard me say that, but I really thought that medical would be in a form of a pill or this stuff, I don't know, for a shot or something to swallow. I think a lot of us were kind of shocked on this, or maybe didn't know the whole truth, to where it just basically meant light up. And that is what's gone on. What they're telling us is, do you know anybody that does this pretty regular? There's a new disease coming from it. It's for habitual marijuana smokers. They're throwing up. They can't stop. After being hooked on this and smoking it so much, they're getting to where they're throwing up nonstop. It's a new disease. Be careful, because there's a lot of them that, well, they can't walk straight anymore. And just for the record, that's a DUI also. When you see that term DUI other, this could be a part of that. It could be medication that causes DUI other, but that is also included in this. It's bad. That law almost needs to go back and be reevaluated, because it's a mess. It is not what I thought was coming. Which reminds you always to read the fine print. Best I remember, there wasn't any fine print on this, was it, Odie? It was medical. I don't think they
Yeah,
explained
pretty
it
much.
was.
You could smoke it, but it had to be inside your home. You couldn't.
But I don't remember any of them telling me that. I don't remember that. It was just, hey, this is for medical reasons. And now they're
If somebody's getting sick like that, then they're buying it from the street.
loblolly pine. That's how high they are. I see it every day. And you stink. Okay, I've had enough of that. Dan Bongino, you know who I'm talking about, number 2 guy, FBI, as he's in there. He says more is coming out against this J6 pipe guy who put one out at the Democrat convention, and he also put one out over at the Republican one. He done both places. As we look more at this, we had somebody from CNN's, and I'm not even going to go into what race he said they were. He said, definitely this person is of this race who done that. Well, guess what? He was wrong. We go here to take a look at who is, and again, this is all accusations at this point until proven guilty in a court of law. But a guy named Brian Cole has been arrested with this. Daily Mail has posted his picture. Maybe you've seen this by now. What's unique about this guy is he had very little, and when I say very little traces of online activity, it was very little. He stayed to himself. His dad owned a bail bonds company. He worked for him, and he'd have to play with these objects on the side, build them. You know how one of the ways they finally dinged what happened? Put him right there.
Oh.
At the exact moment the video was taken, his cell phone was there. They began to search him, and guess what? He has those materials in his home, all adding up. And again, he's not convicted, but the thing about it was he was the guy that you never would have thought of. They said he wore what do you call those earbud things you put on? Walk around with a hoodie, stayed to himself, didn't bother anybody, and he is the one, they think. See how that turns out there. Let's see here. Today you can go read more about this, especially if you're a waiter, waitress, you get tips at your job. The guidelines have been released for that. I have not had a chance to go through it yet, talk to an accountant. I'm sure they're scouring through all of that information today. This has been out there for several days. Treasury Secretary Scott Bassett, do you know who I'm talking about? He was doing an interview with the New York Times. And you want to talk about turning the tables. They were trying to back him into a corner while he was on stage about Trump, the falling asleep thing. And he goes, wait a minute, just wait a minute. He said the New York Times used to be a newspaper that everybody turned to for the truth. He said, I no longer pick it up. He said, you want to know why? For 10 months, you turned your face and eyes on what was happening to Biden, and you reported nothing even though you knew it. Conversation kind of ended at that point. They had nothing more to say to him. The Vatican releasing this. Now, this is going to upset some. There's a chapter in the Bible. Like it or not, all of that stuff from page to page in the Bible is all true. A chapter called Paul. Some don't like to read that. The Vatican has issued a statement saying that they are not ordaining women as deacons, but urges other ministries. Again, it's in there, like it or not. Some like to skip that chapter, is what I'm saying. Let's see what else is happening this morning here. I don't know if y'all remember this guy. Did anybody watch the Blues Brothers?
Oh, yeah.
You remember Aretha Franklin in the restaurant? They were dancing on the let me show you a picture of this guy. Maybe you remember him from that. Here he is. Y'all remember that guy on the left there playing the guitar?
Yeah.
The hippie guy? He's passed away at the age of 84. Apparently, he was actual songwriter, performer. Didn't know all that. But he has passed away. His name was Steve Cropper. Cause of death remains unknown. He's got a large estate. We'll see which family member ends up with that. But I didn't know that. I just thought he was some hippie guy that hung out with all them. Huh. Hey, they lit the Christmas tree last night at the White House. Turned out pretty good. Maybe you got a chance to watch that. They've got it posted on the White House channel. Did you see it, Greg? He's grinning over there.
I'm just sure he did it wrong.
Yeah, he probably did.
They're going to indict him for that, too.
Oh, here's a picture from the White House page there on Twitter. Him and Melania. Did I say it right for once?
Yep.
Man, her name's tough to say some days. It's early in the morning there. Hey, do you remember the guy that walked into the jewelry store I told you about earlier this week and done the thing that they done and gone in 60 seconds? Actually, it was 3 weeks ago. He swallowed it. They have been sitting with him for 3 weeks now. No, 6 days. It was a week ago, 6 days. It has finally come out.
What lucky person got that?
I'm sitting here thinking.
I ain't got a discount. That one's not clear anymore.
Do they give discounts?
That's a discount. Yeah, it's not there. The clarity went down.
Kind of like buying a house that's had a death in it. Yeah, that ought to be named in the.
That's a tough one. And then you think about there was somebody that was assigned to that guy 24/7 that had to. Greg, what's the word I'm looking for? Go through it.
Yeah. But you also think if a mob boss gets it, somebody's going to have to kiss the ring. Oh. Never mind.
I ain't gonna need a jar of them peppermint.
They're killing me. We'll be right back. Weather forecast. It was funny though. We'll be right back.
On a hot day chasing crime in Meridian, to make a man thirsty, there's no better way than an ice-cold Coca-Cola to quench your thirst.
Or an ice-cold Diet Coke if you prefer that flavor.
No matter where you're at, stop by a local store and support that store and Meridian Coca-Cola. They're supporting us every day.
The Scotty Ray Report studio is sponsored by Environment Masters, providing hassle-free heating and cooling, plumbing, and electrical services since 19.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
As we go back to take a look at Doc's Toyota radar, we pull this up. But again, a few showers moving into that bottom south end of Lauderdale County and out near Toomsuba there on I-20 there. It's just sprinkles, nothing big as we look at this. A few showers through Enterprise and Pachuta, and we get into Jasper County. We got showers to just west of Laurel. Light stuff, nothing big there. All this should be ending by 3 o'clock is what we're thinking. Everything perfect for parades. 20% chance of these sprinkles here is what we've got. We've got still fog around Stark Vegas this morning, and as we get into the Mississippi Delta in these areas, we do have a special weather statement. Rain is coming to close Mid-South. Oh, okay. Could drop below freezing is what they're saying as these sprinkles come across this northwest corner up there. If you're anywhere near Tunica, Clarksdale, Olive Branch, just kind of pay attention there to little sprinkles coming down. It could be dangerous a little bit later on. Let's get deeper into this forecast now as we go back for our record highs and our record lows. It was 2005. We had 79 today. 1989, it was 20. Not all that far ago. Here's what we've got for today. Meridian shall see 49. It will be nippy as we make our way over to Meridian tonight for the Christmas parade. We'll see 48 in Columbus, Philadelphia. And we'll see 44 in Oxford, Mississippi. And about 42 in South Haven down on the coast. We'll see a warm 55. Boy, that's a big jacket, isn't it?
Having a high noon for breakfast.
A high noon. Julia has made it to the studio. Tonight, we'll see 38 in Meridian. We'll see 37 in Philadelphia. Oxford, Ole Miss should see 31. And we'll see 29 near Iuka, Mississippi, and 47 on the Gulf Coast. Now, as we look at Alabama, we should see 49 today in Demopolis. 50 around Birmingham, and Gadsden should see 50 as well. As we go back to Montgomery, should see 52. We still have this cooler weather on the eastern side of Mississippi as we notice that warmer weather making its way from California to West Texas, slowly headed towards us. What's that mean? Probably by Christmas it's going to be warm again. As usual. Mosquito weather, you're right. As we look at our 7-day forecast today, 49, 39 tonight, 54 tomorrow. Still a 20% chance of showers lingering Saturday and Sunday. Nighttime lows only about 40. Not bad at all. As we get into Monday, 52. We'll get up to 62 by Wednesday with no chances of rain from Monday to Wednesday. Slight chance on Thursday as we go that extra week all the way through December the 19th. We see that mostly we'll have highs right around 60. We've got one day that dips back into the 40s with a nighttime low just below freezing there on the 13th. Nothing bad is what we see there, but we're watching it closely as Santa gets ready to come. Here's what we've got as we get into our fishing forecast today. Major times to fish today. It's going to be somewhere around 11:34 today through about 1:30. So if you got a noontime fishing habit, well, it's going to be perfect for you. This afternoon, another time about 4:30 until 6:30. It'll be dark by then, but you can get about 30 minutes in before dark. Sunrise happening at 6:41, brought to you by Parker's Wholesale. As we get in times to fish today, Wimberley reminds you, that's Wimberley Taxidermy, north wind around 5 miles an hour, becoming calm by this afternoon. So that's pretty good for you deer hunters. What we've got major times to deer hunt today, 11:35 to 1:35. That's it. Right at dusk dark at 5 o'clock. Actually, dusk dark hits at 4:49. So, well, can't be hunting then.
It ain't dark to go light.
We'll let the game wardens talk about that a little bit more. Sunrise 6:41, sunset 4:49. Today's rating is best. So be out there anytime you can. You never know when something might move and get around. We're coming up on the morning show. I'm trying to see. It's 6:56. We'll be back within
30 seconds.
yeah, it ain't long. We'll be back live with the morning show. Won't you join us? We would sure like that. She's got her. Is that a business suit that she's got on?
Oh my God.
She walked through the door and said, "Hello, my name is Johnny Cash."
I'm leaving.
Welcome, welcome. She's
Why
in
you still got Thanksgiving stuff up?
because she's been building a float.
Okay.
That interior decorator. Okay. I saw that in what you're doing there. What was that? The executive decision. Remember the guy that had to get down below the plane there to
Just need to
defeat.
cut the film.
She doesn't want to play, Greg. We'll be right back with the morning show. Join us.